Good afternoon. For anybody watching this in the replay, the beginning's probably going to be relatively slow to get started because I did not schedule this live. I just said I'd go live in the afternoon, and I'm able to go live now. So I'm here and I'm going to be getting ready. Hey, Amber, how are you? I forgot to bring a drink, so I'm going to see if I can get a drink brought to me. Wasn't super prepared. Hey, Dottie. Hey, Della. Hey, Steph. Hey, Charlotte. Hey, everybody. You guys are here really quick today. I thought I'd be kind of sitting here talking to myself for a little bit. I appreciate everybody kind of, I guess, waiting to talk about everything going on. I am going to be getting ready because my husband wants to do some stuff today. So he's been, hey, Pat. As we wait for some people to get here, I guess I'll just talk about my own life for a minute. He's in a class right now, so he's doing a lot of Zoom meetings. So he's had the laptop, which is why I had no idea when I would be able to go live today. Hey, Lynn, because I didn't know when he was going to be out of class, so I had to wait. But he just got done, so before we go out and do anything today, I'm going to get ready and we're going to talk about anything and everything that I have an opinion on. Haitians, what is this? Coke. Thanks. It would help. Yeah, he has been in, it's a class, so he's been in a class Zoom meeting all month. It's a month-long thing, and he's getting to the end of it. Tuesday's his last day, so he's excited. But I think death by Zoom means a whole new thing to him now. I haven't had to contribute to that part of virtual stuff. Thank you. So I get to hear about it, though. On a side note, while we wait for everybody, hey, Miss Cassandra. Most of you guys know who have been my followers. I did my nails with a new system from Max Estrada's brand, and my charms are falling off, but these nails are holding on the best any professional acrylics have. I've had these for 2 weeks, just about. I think Saturday makes 2 weeks, and although my nails are growing because my nails grow fast, there is no lifting with this set at all. You guys know typically I lose my pinky nails first and then other nails start coming off. They're not moving. So if anybody does their nails at home or is interested in doing their nails at home, his new 1, 2, 3 Go kits that include the press-on gel over the base gel is some good stuff. Anyways, we can move on from that. This is about typically where I sit for my live streams. If more people come in, we'll deal with it then. I'm going to ask ahead of time. Nobody get offended by who I choose, but will a couple of people offer to be a moderator for today? Just because I know some of the topics we're going to be talking about can be, the drama is very polarizing, and I understand why. I'm going to be honest with you guys with my opinions, and I don't want anybody to get over offended, or if we get trolls, I want a couple of people to moderate to make sure nothing gets out of hand. And I'm not going to keep anybody as mods, just so you guys know. I know that this could potentially go down a bad route with the sensitivity of some of the drama that I know you guys have requested me to talk about. Cassandra's offering, Amber Chick, no offense taken. Yeah, I don't want anybody to expect to stay, like, my channel typically does not have a whole bunch of people in it. Typically we hang out around the 20, 30 member mark. I just anticipate that there may be more people coming in at some point with the topics and dramas that we're talking about. Hey, Amber. Hey, Maximum Effort. Hey, guys. Charlotte, I know we haven't had much communication, but I'm going to moderate you because you have a channel and I have been watching your live streams on some of the topics we're going to talk about, and I don't want, you've been able to stay very level-headed, and that's the kind of mod that I want. I'm not trying to offend anybody. Again, it's just for this stream. Yeah, I saw that too, Miss Cassandra, which is why I want to be prepared. I don't know that channel, but I heard some of the, I was watching it just to try and see what all is being said. And I'm not saying anything bad against her, but I want to make sure that if they come in here for whatever reason, I didn't know her channel, so I doubt she knows mine. But if she comes in here and they want to have their opinions, that's fine. I don't care what everybody's opinion is, but I don't want things to get nasty. Anybody who's been on my channel before knows that's not my gig. Despite what other channels have said about me, that's not my gig. Hey, Smiley Mama. Hey, Jess Carter. Hey, Bullet Bill. Sorry for anybody else who's come in that I haven't missed, that I have missed, I mean. If it bothers you guys that I'm getting ready, just tell me. All right, I'm going to try doing the stream with just Charlotte, and if it gets too crazy, then I will mod you, Amber, okay? I think with where we're sitting, only one moderator is really needed. But if it gets crazy, I will probably mod Amber and maybe one or two other people. I don't want history to repeat itself, so to speak. So hopefully you guys can understand. Hey, Michelle. All right, so we all know there's been dramas going on YouTube within our little commentary community. And I mean, we can talk about Katie and all of her dramas. We can talk, if you guys want to start out the gate with the little red stuff, we can do that. I kind of want to get you guys' opinion on where you want to start and how you want to go. Hey, Amber. Hey, Smiley Mama. Yeah, there's lots of drama. And I mean, there's drama all over. I know that this is what was brought up in my last live on Wednesday on what people wanted to talk about, but there's other dramas in YouTube, obviously. Hey, Laura, starting to conjure up that I've been trying my best to keep up with to talk about anything that may potentially get brought up in this stream. Am I going to say I know everything everywhere? Absolutely not. But I have opinions on the dramas that I have seen. What the dramas made you feel sick this week? It's just, to me, before we start talking about any specific drama, what I want to say is the length some people are taking this drama, and any drama for that matter, is like very scary. Some of the people, hey Melody, some of the people involved with this drama stuff are not influencers, they're not YouTubers, they're just people who are voicing their opinion, and a creator or an influencer is attacking said person for having an opinion. That's like hearing, to me, the way that I think of it is like if I'm walking down the street, if I hear a stranger make a comment, having a conversation with somebody, make a comment, and I disagree with, that's like me like ripping them around and being like, blah, 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 blah. That's insane to me. And that's how I feel like this has been going on. And I feel like the more that commentary channels and drama channels start to build platforms, and the more that come onto YouTube and are talking about different aspects of commentary and commentary communities, the worse this is getting. And I don't understand, because although I have become a part of a commentary community, I don't feel like I hold any toxicity. I know I've had my own drama. I don't want to talk about it, but if you guys want me to, I'm open to it at this point. But I mean, that was just blown out of proportion. And I'm not saying that everything I did was right with when that was going on. I have had time to retrospect on how I behaved, and I don't regret anything I did or I said, but there are things that I wish I maybe had handled differently when things were occurring, if that makes any sense. And the thing is, with some of these other creators getting involved in this drama, and I'm not meaning anybody in particular when I'm making this comment, I don't think that they have the ability to self-reflect and to have self-awareness to realize that, hey, I may be the problem, or hey, maybe I need to step back and look at it from their perspective and think of things with an open mind, because it's what I tell my following I do. Every commentary channel says, I try to be unbiased. I try to think of all views. We know who has that ability and who doesn't. And I'm not saying that that needs to be held against people, but when you're constantly in something, you have to be able at some point to self-reflect, or else it's going to continue. And one day it's going to be the end of you. Unfortunately, like, that's just what happens on social media. It gets way blown out of proportion. You can't even keep up. It's consistent. I know. It's hard for me to maintain everything all the time. I feel like people in general have gotten so mean this year with lockdowns. I think lockdown and COVID and like working from home and things like that, I think that does have a part in it. I really do, Dottie. We all have our own opinions. Just be respectful about it. Absolutely. People don't know how to respect other people on the internet. I agree, maximum effort. It is my opinion that my drama started, and it shouldn't have. Like, the original issue should have been a non-issue, but we see what happened with that. You have a valid point. People pop off so quick, and it seems to come out horribly. Yeah. Everyone seems angry when winter. No, maybe it is a weather thing too. You sound so smart for a young person. I don't know if you guys, I know there's a lot of people here who have like popped in and out before, some people who haven't. I'm 30, so I guess I'm kind of young, but kind of not really. I feel like I'm like right at that good age. Hey, Skimps, how are you? Okay, so I just wanted to get on my little soapbox for a second because, in all honesty, I think dramas and stuff are kind of ridiculous. Speaking of COVID, I just got a text, like an emergency text about COVID being on the rise in my area. That's great, right? I think everybody's kind of dealing with that right now. You forget that people can't hear your voice. And I've realized that a lot of like not a lot, but some dramas really do kind of end up being a miscommunication as far as it being online and not having a direct conversation with somebody. I think a lot of it is lost in translation. Things are maybe taken out of context, or the way the original person who said or posted something meant it didn't come off to that individual, whether it's their own insecurities or whatever it is. Something within them is making them read your comment a certain way, whether they're defensive already because maybe something happened in their personal life that put them on edge for some reason, and then they get online and they see something and they just automatically assume you mean the worst, when that wasn't where you were coming from. You could have been coming from a place of concern, but because they already are in the mindset of defense mode, they're just going to automatically, assume that you're trying to come at them, even though that's not the case. You can't hear tone and context. Absolutely. That's one of the issues with internet in general, and with being in lockdown and people having to work from home and people like limiting their contact with other humans. I feel like people are losing their social skills. And, it used to be a joke a couple of years ago about like keyboard warriors and things like that. I feel like it is more prevalent now more than ever because people are consuming so much internet. so much internet. And I don't even just mean like YouTube or Twitter or Instagram. I mean, just internet in general. When we're at home, like I don't have cable. So technically I'm consuming internet when I'm just watching a TV show because I'm streaming it from the internet. So try not to fuss through text. Absolutely. With anybody in my, like in real life that I know, if I'm having a texting conversation and I think something maybe was misinterpreted, I will call them. Or if they don't answer me and it's something that should have a response, I will call them and say, hey, like, I hope you didn't take that the wrong way. Rereading it, I feel like maybe it could have been misread. MySpace. Yeah, I think a lot of people forgot about MySpace. Yeah, this whole thing with like, from a bird's eye view, starting off with the red stuff, I feel like everybody had like been pretty supportive of each other. And I'm not saying that people aren't supportive of each other anymore, but what I am noticing as a creator myself and watching all of this happen after the fact is people are so unwilling to be open to somebody else's reason. You can see something and not agree with it. It doesn't mean that because you don't agree with something that person is now a bad person. That's kind of how it seems that people are handling themselves online, and I am just flabbergasted by it. Like, we all have our own opinions, and it's okay to have your own opinions, and these creators preach that having your own opinion is a good thing, and I want to, myself included, and I want to, you know, I always say I want to encourage healthy debates, healthy discussions, and adult conversation. That's the only way I may learn a different point of view, is if somebody is willing to come up to me or say in my chat, I disagree with you and this is why. Not, I disagree with you, your opinion is shit, you're a bad person. That's what I feel like is happening. I think people are getting too defensive about where they stand on the issue. Things are not black and white, and people are trying to put it in black and white terms, and I feel like that is why this community is starting to get divided. You should respect them. Absolutely. It does not mean that you have to, you can respect somebody else's opinion and not lose sight of your own opinion. Hey, Liz. Yeah, I understand where people are, and we can talk about it. Other creators say, yes, say to form your own opinion, but if you believe my opinion, I mean, if we're at some point, we're gonna end up talking about Katie. Katie is the prime example of this, is she not? She says she wants healthy debates, but she limits the debate. She deletes people and says that they're trolling when it's really just an opposing opinion or criticism. She just totally deletes it. So nobody on an opposing side can say that. She curates her comments. She admits that she curates her comments in certain scenarios. So, I mean, if you're going to do it, just do it and own up to it. What bothers me about people and creators is they say that they're going to do one thing, and they say that they're genuine and they're authentic and they're real, and then they don't address it when they start to do something different. I know I have run into this issue whenever I had my drama. I had never deleted a comment. I had never curated anything, but I was getting some nasty, nasty messages, which is why I went on that live. That is the live everybody looks for, which is why I went on that live to address with my following, my loyal subscribers, hey, you're going to notice a change in how I've been operating my comment sections. That's what that was supposed to be. It's not my fault it got derailed. Could I maybe have brought it back? I could have, but I was emotional and it was an insane time. So I still want to remain genuine and authentic with you guys and have those conversations and be honest with you. Like, yeah, I'm going to start deleting comments. If people are saying things that are absolutely trash and not constructive at all, I'm going to delete it. That there's no reason for me to be subject to it or for my subscribers to feel like they need to defend me, because then that's just going to cause my subscribers to get into an argument with somebody online, and I don't want to cultivate that negative culture. You think some people comment in a hateful way to instigate drama? Yeah, they do. I mean, there's definitely, that's the real definition of a troll to me, is somebody who is going out to instigate something. They have a malicious intent to some degree. That is a troll to me. Hey, Mila. Hey, JJ. Hey, Emily. Sorry, I forgot to say hi to you guys. So, to spite Katie, I don't have the palette she uses all the time, but I am going to use one of my Natasha Denona palettes today. If you guys are interested, I'm going to use the gold palette. Hey, Advent. So we're just going to get on into it. And I can tell you guys, if you're expecting something from me, you're probably not going to get what you're expecting, because honestly, this whole stuff about Red's Live, I can literally sit here and argue both sides. I can. I don't really have a side that I'm falling on. No matter how much I watch, I can say, oh, I can see their points and agree with their points, and the same for the other side. So, hey, Nick and Steph. Hey, Natalie. So if you're expecting me to say I hardcore stand behind what was done or I hardcore don't, you're not going to get that from me today, because I really don't. I can genuinely see both sides. When I first saw it and I hadn't seen Red's Live and I saw the fallout on Twitter, I was like, is my honest opinion, and people are probably going to get mad at me for this, was, to me, it seemed that, and part of me still believes this, the issue is the subject matter. It is the fact that it's over, and I don't censor myself, so there should be trigger warnings before we talk about this. We are going to be referencing sexual assault. So for anybody who hasn't been on my channel, I don't try to make money on here. I could care less, so I don't censor myself. I think the primary issue people have is that it's over sexual assault, because what had happened, what was it, a week or two ago, I'm effing Rakin, or however you say her handle, she put out a very well put together video discrediting Katie for her pride flag, and she had the proof from the law enforcement reports. She had proof from how Katie's videos and her tweets. To me, Little Red did the same thing with Aaron on the sexual assault. So you guys are, to me, it's like, okay, we are going to say, I'm not reading the chat for a minute while I get through this. I will go back through, I promise. So to me, coming in, not seeing the live, not seeing anybody's stuff, just seeing what happened on Twitter, I was like, are you guys kidding me? That is so hypocritical. We all get on Katie for being hypocritical. You guys are going to support and encourage one creator because it's a pride flag, but you're going to damn another one because it's about sexual assault. And I have since gone back and watched a lot of people's live streams, including this particular one. And part of me still thinks that a lot of the issue is the subject matter. I can understand that. Do I think that it was the best idea? No, I don't think it was the best idea, but I can understand why Red did it. And if you genuinely watch the video, the live all the way through, they consistently state that they weren't questioning and that the report didn't even insinuate something. That's not entirely true. Again, people are probably going to get mad at me because I've watched it very, very clearly. They did, and not so much Little Red. I don't know Aaron, so I'm not trying to start anything with anybody. But at some points, it did seem that, you know, they did mention parts about how things weren't being what was the one? There was one particular like 5-minute part where they talk about how the law enforcement officer didn't have the evidence. To me, that's kind of contradicting that you weren't talking about whether or not it happened or not. The subject matter before that, they hadn't really questioned the fact that this happened. Hindsight looking in, to me, it did appear that they were just trying to point out inconsistencies. Is that really appropriate? Coming from a social worker? No, it's not. It's not at all. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's not appropriate to try and say somebody's faulty. However, with Katie's track record and what Katie does and everything like that, I totally can understand why they did this. And again, it brings me back to the video that I'm Rakin did about the pride flag. Okay, so that's the beginning part that I wanted to get out. I'm going to go back up and read your comments. And I don't know where they started, so if I missed something that you really want me to see, please just re-comment it. Hey, Dark Lily. Yeah, Charlotte, you can approve any comments because of language. I really don't care. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Nick and Steph. It was in the live I left because it was triggering for me. And I totally understand that. And like I'm saying, from a social worker standpoint, it is not the most appropriate. However, with that being said, I can understand and support Red and why she did it. You can see both sides too. And I don't understand why people are making it out to be like this huge thing. Say your piece and move on. Smiley Mama says, what I'm confused about, she got reports. Yeah, I haven't even talked about the hypocrisy of how it's been handled by Katie specifically since. What I want to work through first with you guys is kind of like where I stand and why I stand there, and have you guys give me your feedback on where you feel and why you feel that way. Hey, Veronica. Hey, Liz. Don't know how you feel about Red's video. Like, yeah, Katie lies. SA should be investigated. And I can see that. I 100% can see that side. That's what I'm saying. It is a sensitive subject matter. Hindsight's 2020. Could we have done things differently? Yes. Will we learn from this? Yes. And that's what I'm saying, Dottie. Like, I don't think you guys handled yourselves inappropriately. I listened to that stream so closely and re-listened to certain parts to make sure that my opinion was not being swayed by any one thing. Now, can I admit that I enjoy Red? I have been a supporter of Red. If you want to claim that I am biased because of that, you have that right. But I did not see this go down in real time. So everything I have had, I actually watched the people kind of giving her criticism and why they did. Like Charlotte, I saw Charlotte's live. She was very respectful. I know a lot of you guys were in those lives providing your opinions and your feedback. I saw hers before I even saw, and I saw some of this Joe's Angels channel. I saw part of one of her lives as well. So I intentionally almost watched the people who didn't agree because my initial reaction on Twitter was to defend Red. So I was like, well, I'm going to try and see if the people who have opposing opinions can provide me enough information. So I'm going in as level-headed as I can. That's how I went into watching all of this. Amber disagrees strongly with the fact that people are going out to get people's police reports. So invasive, so scary. I can agree with that. The police reports thing is like touchy to me. Like about sexual assault, I mean, honestly, it's nobody's business at the end of the day. But if we're going to take a step back and look at the big picture here and think of who we're dealing with here, I can't say that I blame after there was so much support after the police reports were used in the pride flag video, and it got such good feedback. And I'm not saying that that's why Aaron and Little Red did this. I haven't talked to them, so I can't speak to that. But I mean, coming from there as a creator, they may have thought she used that as supporting evidence. It's kind of similar, not as far as like subject matter, but your sources. You don't want to say, oh, I read this. People do this to Katie all the time. She'll say, oh, my source said, and then they're like, oh, well, who's your source? I mean, we do that to her as well, do we not? So her actually providing the source, again, we're getting back to like a source is the issue. How is a source the issue? However, I understand because it is something dealing with sexual assault, it shouldn't be read. I understand what you mean by that. Yeah, Natalie. And that's kind of what we're getting into, is the fact that Katie, the timing of everything, on why Katie decided to fully release this, how Katie actually talked about her essay in her video. I mean, I talked about it when it happened. I had concerns then about how Katie went about that. Yeah, Katie does believe she's off limits, which we all know she's not. And she's getting a good dose of her own medicine by Dustin Daly and Nick Snyder, and they're not going to leave her alone. I can promise you that. I've been supporters and a viewer of both of theirs since they started their YouTube channels, and they're not going to let her drag them for no reason. It's a subject matter. Yeah. I assume it is the subject matter on why people are getting so upset and so riled up by it. And I can understand that because it's a sensitive matter. And with the Me Too movement happening recently, we're all should be under the guise to believe all victims. And I agree with that. And am I saying every police officer conducts themselves with, the utmost like they should? No, they don't. Does that necessarily mean that that's what happened in Katie's case? No. I mean, we're not to say that. The only things that are going to be able to say that is that detective and Katie, because what a law enforcement officer at the end of the day puts in their report is their perception of the encounter. I mean, it's part of their duty to the public to be honest in that and make sure that they're not letting their emotions and their opinions of the situation dictate what they write. But is it a minute possibility? It is. And I understand people not wanting to discuss it. I do understand that. Jen said, completely unpopular opinion. We talk about true crime all the time. How is this any different? Having a family member murdered is very personal to their family. Should we not talk about that? You bring a very good argument, and it's similar to the argument I have with the pride flag. It's people are getting all up in arms about the subject matter, understandably, but we need to be able to take a step back and not let things like this really divide a community. Thank you, Veronica. I'm sorry I'm so behind in the chat, guys. I'm trying to catch up. I'm just going to start skimming rather than reading everybody's. I'll read every couple. Mila said KJ does lie and does a whole bunch of wrong things. However, 2 wrongs doesn't make a right. We all have things. That's your only issue. And I can see the argument of releasing what Katie does is wrong, and we all criticize her for that. And then people who are on the side that what Red and Aaron did went too far are seeing how this is 2 wrongs. I can agree with you guys in some aspects. Like 2 wrongs never make a right. KJ's the one who made something out of this. I can't Lisa, I can't 100% agree with that, because I think people who have maybe been survivors of stuff themselves, they try to put themselves in those shoes, and it can be traumatizing. Is it necessarily the definition of what some things are being said? Not 100%, but I can see why they are saying those things. So I don't want to say, has Katie instigated it? Absolutely. Is she the reason that Red has kind of gotten some backlash when this happened? I don't think she's the full reason. Michelle says, in Australia, there's no way someone can get someone else's police report unless they have a subpoena because of privacy. And I think it differs on how the investigations are labeled and the states. Because I know certain things like this are not available to the public from the state I'm from. Dottie says, yes, Charlotte was very respectful, even though she didn't agree. Thank you, Charlotte. Yeah, I really appreciated the fact that she was willing to say, this is how I feel. However, if you feel a different way, you can voice that, and I'm not going to block you. I'm not going to delete you. I'm not going to shame you or, call you out and make you the target of the conversation. That is, to me, that's having integrity. That is holding true to, I have my opinions, but I'm not going to judge you for yours. Jesse says, I think it's a subject matter, but also some people in the chat, not the host, did question the validity of her assault, which made Katie and others upset. I did not watch the replay of the chat. Excuse me. So I can't speak to that. But if that's not what the YouTuber is doing, is questioning something, like, I think to some degree, like, it could have been maybe kept closer down. And I kept hearing Dottie say, that's not what we're talking about here. Like, we're not questioning that. So I assumed things like that maybe were being brought up in the chat, and it's my bad for not looking. But it sounded like Dottie was doing what she could as like the moderator at the time to keep that at bay. And Red does a really good job at trying to allow people to have their opinions and speak freely. And I think that maybe is one of the things that, and Dottie, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to speak for you guys, but I would think that that's maybe one of the areas that when you say you could have maybe done things differently, that's maybe one of the ways you would have done things a little bit differently. Thank you, Mila. I appreciate your support. Anybody who's here, I appreciate all of you. Hey, John. I appreciate your subscription. Thank you for being here. And you're in Tampa. I'm originally from the Panhandle of Florida. Yeah, Charlotte did a very good job in how she decided to discuss this. Hey, Claire. Katie made it everyone else's business. I mean, she didn't make it easier for herself. I understand. And Della says that she didn't report Red's video even because she doesn't believe in that type of censorship. And I saw some things where people were reporting her video. I don't know where I feel about that. I mean, if you strongly feel like it was offensive and there were parts in there that if you are a survivor, it triggered you, I'm not going to say that you shouldn't have done that. If you really felt that and you filled out the questionnaire that is brought up by YouTube when something like that, if you were able to answer those questions honestly and submit a report, that's within your right as a subscriber or a viewer. Do I think it needs to be encouraged or discouraged? No, that's the right as viewers that we have. Anybody can report any video that they're offended by. Even my videos, I curse in some of my lives quite a bit, and I would not be offended if I got reported on a video and it was said because of language, because I could understand that. Lisa says it's a matter of public record, Freedom of Information Act, especially when the case has been closed. She put it out there. Nobody went looking for it until she broadcasted on her channel. Yeah, I don't think Red or Aaron, I don't know Aaron, but I don't get the impression that they went looking for this because they knew she had brought it up at some point. I think because she brought it up, and then she, with everything she did with Sophie Long, they maybe felt a need to do this, to talk about it. Yeah, Natalie kind of is on the same sentiment. If KJ didn't want people to talk about it, why did she bring it up? Yeah, I mean that's a valid question for Katie, to be quite honest. Hey Ash K. Yeah, I did hear Dottie continue to say that, and I should have probably opened up the chat. I never think to rewatch the live chat, to be honest. Amber got 4 inches of snow. It's gotten cold here, but I don't know when we'll get snow or if we'll get snow. Nick and Steph, we love Charlotte's channel. Yeah, her content's really, from what I have seen of it, has been really good. I think I watched one of Charlotte's videos a while back, and then I saw her in Little Red's chat, and I subscribed. Dottie says, yes, we always try to let everyone voice their opinions, but with the sensitivity of the subject, maybe we should have given a PSA to try and limit some of those comments. And that's what I assume. Like, you guys are super respectful. No matter what you're talking about, we're human. We all make mistakes. We all say comments and things like that at times that we probably, in hindsight, wish we didn't say. I know I have done that in other lives before. But we also need to, like, as a community and people who are outraged, I can see why, but they need to take a step back. Like, we're all people, we're all human, and there's only so much. Like, Dottie kept saying to people, let's not talk about that, let's not let that be a subject, and people continue to say it anyways because we're people, and if we're given the ability to speak our mind, we're going to. So we can't put all of it back on the creator. Can some of it be their responsibility, like after the fact? Yes. However, most people here are going to know that Red has not been in the position to really even deal with this shit. And part of that is like frustrating for me. Like, if I was in her shoes, if I got all of this going on and people are judging me and yelling at me because I haven't done anything, and Katie has contributed to that a disgustingly amount of time, like trying to poke fun at her avoiding the backlash, and people actually told Katie that Red was in the hospital, and she made fun of it to me. Like, that's kind of how I took her tweets and stuff, and her comments that she's made since is disgusting as a human being, especially when she has a medically fragile child and she knows how serious it can be when you go into the hospital. It's like she can't connect the dots to things at times. Charlotte is the bomb. You went to college in Florida, in Tallahassee. Well, where I was at, there wasn't Four Seasons. I wish there was. From what I saw, Nick and Steph, people were gloating about the fact that they reported the video, which is fine if you want to report it, but why are you glorifying or gloating that you did? That's just weird to me. Hey, Sue. Thank you for providing your input. I hope you're having fun at soccer. Thank you, Della. Amber says it's against YouTube's terms of service for a creator to tell their subscribers to go report another channel. Yeah, but we know it is, but it happens all the time. And it really, what I have come to find out, and I'm not trying to be shady, but what I have come to find out is it really depends on who is saying to go report and how loyal their fans are if they're going to, because I have been subject to that. So, I mean, it really just depends on the viewers and if they're going to or not. However, I didn't watch the live chat, but I went through and read some of the posted comments after the fact, and I'm pretty sure a lot of them were Katie supporters, which there's nothing wrong with that, but they are like saying, I reported this, which that's within their right. I just don't understand, like, why leave a comment that says, I reported this? Like, if you genuinely have something wrong with the content and that's why you're reporting it, maybe inform that creator so they don't make the same mistake again. Yeah, Reds Live consistently said that they believed KJ. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. And I know there's a lot of people here who haven't been in my live streams before, and I appreciate every single one of you being here and contributing to the conversation. I really appreciate the donation. However, I want you guys to know I don't need it, and I appreciate it, and I'm going to thank you if you provide one, but don't feel that you have to. Liz also is saying that Dottie did a good job. Yeah, I didn't see anything wrong with how Dottie was trying to hone in people, but people are going to do what they want. And I'm sure Red maybe would have curated her comments a little bit better if she was able to. I've lost my spot in the chat. Hopefully I can find it. Thank you, Dottie. I don't know what you said. I don't even really know how to work for pulling these things up. I just see them pop up at the top. Thank you for speaking your opinion. I needed this conversation today. I always try to have like healthy conversations. And I think this is one that was needed. Like Charlotte's done an amazing job, but I also think like people are kind of, and this is just my opinion and impression, I think people are kind of falling back on Charlotte to almost be a placeholder for Red. And I've heard Charlotte say some things like that in the lives. And I feel kind of bad that she feels that she has to be a placeholder. Like, I get what she means, and I hope she's not taking that as a bad way, because people are genuinely interested in what she has to say. And I think she has modeled a lot of how she is handling her live chats after how Red has. But I don't want any creator to ever feel like they're a placeholder or they feel like they have to do something if they can't. Does that make sense? Ash K, I snapped on when KJ snapped on a real house after her super chat. How rude. I don't know if that might be a side conversation. We know Katie has no self-awareness at all, and she takes too much pride in seeing bad things happen to others. Yeah, it's her mannerisms when she breaks a story or digs something up on somebody. She needs to maybe be a little bit more professional, in my opinion, on how she decides to talk to her audience and let her audience know that she has discovered said information, because it comes off very poorly. Her smiling and like being giddy about the fact that she found out something nasty about a person is strange. It's not super normal, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm sure it has been. And Dottie, I almost think like with people saying that they reported it, I wonder if they like if some people actually did, or if they were just kind of doing the motions but not following through. I'm sure it did get reported by some people. And like I said before, I can understand why some people who literally were triggered and literally had an adverse reaction to the content on why they would. But I think some of those were people just saying it. You didn't recognize any names in the chat. I didn't scroll that far because as a creator, I know how, like, I don't know the right term to feel. Like, it doesn't feel good. And it's not like we want to piss people off or we want people to, like, have a lot of negative things to say, because I know Red is not trying to culture a negative community or have toxicity in her community. So it's harder when you know that that creator's not trying to foster that, and that's what it looks like is being fostered because of people being told or hearing only one side and just going and leaving comments. Can creators in this chat leave a comment in the comments after this post so I can find you if it's okay with Amanda? Yeah, I'm totally cool with creators leaving if I've done this for subscribers of mine. If you have a platform, I will let you drop your link. I will mod you and let you drop your link. It's always up to my subscribers to go and check it out. And if they want to subscribe, they can. And then I will do the same if I haven't already subscribed and supported. I will check out your content, and if it's something I feel I will consume and I like, I will subscribe to you as well. Veronica says, I'm not really seeing much divide within established communities. I am seeing astonishing behavior and comments on the video. It is clear they haven't seen the entire video. It is clear that some of the comments, it is very, very clear that people did not watch the entire video. And I mean, what are we going to do? Like, that's just people, to me, that's just people hearing of the drama and not having a mind of their own or not being able to think critically for themselves to watch it before they want to publicly put out a comment and maybe make themselves look silly. Not that I'm saying comments who disagree with Red's chat, those people are silly who have left that, but when they say things that clearly are not true, it's just like, it kind of makes them look dumb. I mean, I was trying to be nice about it, but it makes them look dumb. Red hasn't even been able to speak out for herself. Yeah, I know she hasn't. I lost myself. Sorry if I skipped your comment and you want it to be read, just re-comment it. The thing is with Tati, which I can't watch her, why is no big media reporting on it? Hey, Dottie, or Dodie, I'm not sure how you pronounce your name. I think I've gone through this with you before. I'm sorry. Yeah, Ms. Cassandra talks about how people are commenting and engaging and saying how they're triggered but continue to go back. I mean, that is a little bit strange. I was in the live. I heard in the live, because I listened to it, I didn't watch the chat replay, but I heard in the live it be suggested that they put trigger warning in the title and say a trigger warning. Yes, was it a good bit of the way into the live? It was. I think that's something, again, that they maybe would have done differently had they had a do-over. However, I don't think they anticipated what ended up being brought up. Like people have said, was that people in the comments were the ones questioning whether or not anything happened to Katie, and that wasn't the purpose of the video for them or the live for them. And they were struggling with trying to work with what they had on the spot. So I don't think they knew that any of the comments were going to be in the way to where they needed that, because it was not their duty, nor did they ever question what happened. A few people have talked about Tati in the beauty community. Yeah, Tati is not free of no drama. Like, she's been in dramas before. They have just always been kind of spaced out in her career that it was easy to be forgotten of. Shane's Tale, what live are you referencing? Are you talking to me or in the chat? Because I was still referencing Little Red's live. Or have we moved on to the Tati stuff? Because I'd be cool to move on to the Tati stuff. I just answered it. Okay. Hey, Crystal. Uber Eats just delivered Baskin Robbins to your door. Ice cream sounds good, except for it's already kind of cold. And I get where, okay, I caught up. I'm sorry if I skipped your message. I kept jumping around in the chat, so I just scrolled to the bottom. If you said something you want me to know, just re-comment it. I'm sorry if that's annoying for anybody. So the thing with the sourcing that Katie is mad about, here's my take on it. If Nick, Dustin, Rich, whatever other drama channels have actually covered this Tati stuff, if they got the information from Katie, they probably should have sourced her. I mean, does that mean that they actually needed to verbalize who they got it from? No, but they could have given her, like, dropped it in their description box and just left it at that. That's sourcing somebody. If they just got the information on their own from other third parties, then it was provided to them as like a lead, so to speak, then I don't think that she should need to be sourced. Just because, according to her, she broke the story because she was the first one to talk about it. I mean, we know historically that the person who maybe comes up with the first ingenious idea is not the one who's credited for the work. So this is an ongoing historical issue. I get where she's mad, but to be quite honest, I don't know why she's mad, because the kind of following that Nick Snyder has is not going to be interested in her content, because she primarily just talks crap about reality TV people and digs too much into their lives and falsely accuses and uses misinformation consistently. His followers only care about like his life, his dramas, and the beauty community. Yeah, and that is another good point, that she has been proven to plagiarize some of her content. It's all over Twitter about how she has plagiarized, like word for word plagiarized her videos from other sources that are smaller. How does she think they maybe feel? Because I'm sure some of these individuals don't have platforms, and she's not even crediting somebody who doesn't even have anything to gain out of it. That's just disgusting. Hey, Uncovering Hypocrisy. She should have credited People Magazine. Is she whining about this? Katie constantly are like whining about something. Yeah, she's barking up the wrong tree to mess with them. 100%. I mean, we've already seen, if you're on Twitter, which I know you are, if you're on Twitter and you're following Dustin daily, he's already been throwing shade at her. So if she doesn't stop, they are going to continue. And those are people who have been on this platform, who have been in multiple dramas over the years and always come out just being like, this is what it is. They're not known to be liars. They're known to be like the snarky, literally the snarky mean girls on YouTube, which is why I like them, because they're honest and they don't care if people like them. That's not what they're trying to get out of it. Did they want to make careers out of their YouTube platforms? Yes. And they were honest with that. They told people that's what they were trying to do with their accounts. And people like their personality because they're cutthroat. She's messing with the wrong cutthroat individuals. And she will see that if she doesn't stop. Oops. You don't watch any other creators except for a few. Proceeds to name 3. How she knows creators steal her content. Come on. Yeah, no, exactly. And that's kind of what I found funny is when all this stuff with Little Red kind of happened, she used the opportunity to call out anybody. I mean, she didn't name any other creators, but she referenced things that almost every criticism creator that I have seen provide criticism, she addressed something from almost every single one of their videos. And it's like, but you want to preach that you don't watch videos about yourself. Obviously, clearly you do, because you're talking about what exactly we criticize you for. I know, who was it? At one point, somebody had given her, it was Eyeshadow Island, had kind of, in one of her videos about her, talked about how she was wiping her nose with her blanket and how she thought it was disgusting. Like 2 lives later, Katie like shaded it and was like, by the way. And I'm like, obviously, clearly you're watching our content on you. My content on her is typically in a live stream, and I don't always label my live streams with her name in them because I could care less. At this point, I know she's not taking our advice. You don't have Twitter, so you miss out on so much. I mean, Twitter is a cesspool, to be honest. I didn't have Twitter until I created my YouTube, and I don't know how to work it half the time. And I see a ton of negativity, and not even just about myself when I had my own drama, but like with everything, like it's like 10% happy and 90% let's just go at each other's throats. Peter Mon did a good coverage on that. Did Peter Mon cover this? I love Peter Mon, and I haven't seen his video yet. I wanted to be fully prepared for this video, so I didn't go scouring anything. I watched Nick's video. I did not watch Dustin's video. Oops. I keep missing. I'm not used to having this many people commenting in my chat, so I'm very easily getting lost. I'm sorry. She's lurking, you bet. I don't care if she's lurking. I mean, she can... What is she really going to get from this? Like, she quotes them and then responds word for word. Yeah, I've noticed that, and it's kind of funny to me, to be honest. When she does, I'm like, I heard that on so-and-so's channel. Like, what? You hope she would learn something from this, but clearly she hasn't. No, I think if anything, it's just fueled her ego, to be quite honest. Bruce Allen, yeah, I have seen, he recently has popped up in my recommended, I'd say over the last month, and I have watched a couple of his videos. I'm not sure if I have subscribed yet, but I have watched a couple of his videos for sure. I didn't have any issues with how he covers his content. You have zero empathy for her. She's a liar and a con. She uses people's lies, has double standards, and is trash in your book. I don't feel sorry for her at all. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who agree with you, but they're too scared to say it. I think people are, because of, like I said at the beginning of this live, people are constantly like starting to feel more comfortable in this keyboard warrior aspect. they're more free to just say something and then be okay with deleting it or retracting it. So I think people are afraid if they really speak out in their honest opinions of her that they're going to end up in the same scenario where there's a whole bunch of people talking about them and judging them and picking apart everything that they do. And people don't want that kind of attention. And I can understand why. So I can't necessarily say that I blame people for not wanting to call it all out for how they feel. I know there's a lot of people, especially in this chat, who are kind of on the opposite end and they really don't care and they're going to do it anyways. I wish she would let you come on alive. Have you asked her? I mean, not that. We all know she would probably say no. He's close with Nick and Dustin as well. Is he? Nobody wants Todd's input. Todd is KJ, Katie Joy, without a crystal ball's husband. Can't blame him at all. Oh, you're blocked. Yeah, I got blocked too. And I had one conversation with Katie at the very beginning of my YouTube career when I feel like I go through this every time I get a lot of people in my live. I'm going to do this very briefly just to provide context since I just said I've talked to her. When I first started my YouTube, it was right before the Micah Stauffer stuff happened. I created my YouTube to have an outlet to express my personal story of growing up in in foster care, and then ultimately being adopted. I was an older adopted child. I was 10 years old. So when this Micah Stauffer story broke, I was livid because I'm a part of that community and it really hit home to me. So I talked about it and got into this commentary world. And then I found Katie that way, which a lot of people, that's how they found her. I started watching her content, and then she wanted to out this Facebook group that was probably dealing with child trafficking. And what made me mad was the fact that she misrepresented a lot of terminology used in child welfare and in adoption to a point that it was very misleading and very uneducated. And I sent her a DM trying to be respectful as a new small creator on this platform to say, hey, just so you know, I'm making a video about you and how you use incorrect terminology. She wasn't nasty to me. She wasn't super flowery either. She was just like, oh, well, I was just using the context that it was used in the Facebook group. That was her response to me, which I talk about in that video, which is fine. That was my only communication with her. And then I commented on a tweet of somebody who had either made a video or had given her really harsh but honest criticism. And I said, I agree with you. I made a video like that too, or something like that. And I got blocked. That's how I got blocked from her. Which I was like, okay, I don't care. Yeah, I think a lot of people who provide Katie criticism would like to have an interview with her. So, housekeeping. Well, that kind of would have been cool if Jess. Yeah, there's KJ went after Nick's sobriety, not cool. She's a low blower. She's gonna take any blow that she can get. Because she has no other criticism of Nick. That's why she comes after his sobriety, in my opinion, because I don't see what else she could criticize him about. He has a larger following than her. He has supporters like myself who have been there for a very long time and know his actual character. So I don't think she could get away with anything. And she's not getting away with calling his sobriety out either. Bye, Nick and Steph. I hope you feel better. I had a migraine yesterday, so I understand how painful those are. Her block list probably is longer than her actual following list. If anyone can call Red's channel a hate channel, I hope they relay the message to Uni. In your opinion? Yeah, Red's channel's not a hate channel. And most people who talk about Katie aren't, or who have, or have made, any abundance of videos about her, I wouldn't say necessarily are hate channels. To me, you become a hate channel when you are not providing criticism and you're just being mean. He doesn't allow that to cloud his judgment. He's fair in his commentary, even in the luscious. But yeah, I did some videos about the luscious Rich and Nick thing, and I was told I was being biased, which is interesting because I don't get that comment very often. Nick gives 0 Fs. Yeah, I don't think either one of them care at this point. KJ threatened. Yeah, she's always, and I don't know if she realizes that her saying, oh, I'm going to contact my attorneys, or my attorneys are going to be in touch with you. I don't think she realizes that those are threats. I really don't think she realizes that. I keep ending up in the same spot when I try to scroll down. I don't know what's going on. They are just dedicated KJ channels who feel a moral obligation to raise awareness of the toxicity that is KJ. The girl that cried wolf, she definitely falls under that, in my opinion. Like, you guys let me know, since there's quite a few of you guys in here. Have you guys ever come across any other channel who has had as much criticism as she has? I have never seen this before. Have I seen people get into dramas and then like small communities build up or pick a side, which is childish, but pick a side to go with, and then it dissipates, everything goes back to normal? I have never seen a consistent group continue to grow and continue to exist because of a problematic behavior. Even Onision, I don't think, has the dedication some of us have to making sure people are informed. He definitely has some, but I don't know if the pool of people is as large as Katie's is. And that says something. Man. Exactly, uncovering hypocrisy. Like Little Red, I understand. I said at the beginning, I understand why people are upset, and I can see the argument, thinking that of the belief that it was inappropriate that they talk about it. But I don't know where there was. I get where people had an issue with it, but I don't see why it's come to the point it has. Micah Stauffer. YouTube needs to do something about her breaking terms of service. Well, because there's a lot of creators who've been breaking terms of service. I don't know if you guys are aware of what Nick Ocado recently went out and did to a couple of channels, with striking them and like them getting to termination or close to termination because he striked them due to the using his content. which that's besides the point. I mean, channels have been discussing Nikocado for so long because he continues to do very problematic things on his channel. Yeah, you've never seen anything like it except for the Stoffers. But the stuff with the Stoffers is like crazy. They did one thing and they got canceled because it was such a horrendous thing. She just does these little stupid things that go unnoticed by people. I haven't seen one solitary YouTuber who has a channel dedicated to her alone. I don't think I have either. I mean, there's some channels that the majority of their content is about her, but they always talk about other creators here or there. Does it get old? Like, if as long as you're continually bringing something new or talking about a new scenario with her, I don't see it being an issue. But when I haven't seen this in a little while, but I know when dramas have happened before, people continue to talk about it. And I'm just like, you've already said your piece. I don't understand why you continue to draw this out over weeks. Like, you're not saying anything new, nothing new has happened, like just drop it. But I haven't seen that recently. I'm not into mukbang, so I don't watch him. I am one of those people who cannot stand the sound of other people chewing, especially if they chew with their mouth open. But when he was going through a lot of the drama with his husband and like the domestic violence that they were portraying, I forced myself to watch his content. And he's a male Trisha Paytas, in my opinion. Della thinks Beast Boy is overdoing Katie videos. I can't really say that I know because I have stopped watching him. I've unrecommended his content to me. I got tired of hearing stuff about myself. So, unlike Katie, I really can't watch people talk about me. Katie with the M&M, she's so rude. I have never caught anything with Kate. Like, I've never been on any of the lives where Katie's on an M&M fix, so I haven't been able to see that. And I don't know how to operate the Reddit, so I haven't been able to watch his videos. I'm sure there's some on Twitter that I've missed. So sad about Deep in a Thought. Yeah, it's like people should be getting warnings and stuff like that before they just wake up and their channel's not there. Hard pass on chewing and watching people eat. Yeah, it was not fun. And I watched his content for a while to be able to make my videos. You saw a clip last week. I have to go. All right, bye, Shane. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name right. Have a good night, or it's still daytime. I'm used to doing live streams at night. Have a good day. I'm probably only gonna stay on for a little bit longer. I mean, I want to get through everything that we want to talk about, but I also told my husband I'd do stuff with him today. You don't follow BX. Hate mukbangs. Yeah. I have the Reddit. I just don't know how to maneuver it. Yeah, Zales. Hey, I don't know if I said hi to you. Yeah, I've been told by other people that he continues to make content on Katie. I just am not watching his channel anymore. It was gross. She was snacking and stuff. You didn't as much. I'm sure I didn't. You're funny, Ash. It was nauseating. Well, I'm glad I didn't see it because I wouldn't be able to tolerate that. Yeah, his thumbnails are super exaggerated. I will say that though, because like I watched a lot of his video. I made a couple of videos involving that stuff because it's scary, the information he's putting out and like what he was. I don't know if he still is. I stopped watching the content. I don't know if he's still depicting all of that domestic violence, but it can be super harmful when I'm sure he has somewhat of a younger following. And I can only imagine he probably has some people who are younger in demographic. Even people who are my age and older can fall into seeing stuff online and seeing, like, they may be in a domestic violence relationship, not even be able to acknowledge that because they haven't been able to come to that awareness level yet, and see it being portrayed online and it not be a big deal and think that that's okay and it's healthy. That I have a huge problem with. You think it's easier to do Reddit on your phone? I have it on my phone. I haven't even tried to do it on the computer. You absolutely detest the way Katie is bragging on her subscribe. Is she seriously? Hey, Lulu, how are you? Thank you. I appreciate it. I just think it's me. I don't think it's a Reddit issue. I think it's an Amanda issue, to be honest. I'm not good at, like, you can give me a work software or like a program software for like retail and I can figure it out and, learn all the kinks and like the back ways and stuff by playing with it. But when it comes to like this YouTube stuff and like Twitter and all of that, I can't figure it out to save my life. I don't hardly ever post on Twitter. I typically just like people's comments, their tweets, so to speak. I guess they're not comments. I just like their tweets because I don't really feel like I have anything to contribute. Good night, Lisa. I can understand that, Jesse. I know. And I've said in those videos I've made about Nick Cicotto that I'm almost 100% sure that he is doing it for clicks and for like the attention. I don't think it's legitimate. But coming from the career fields that I am coming from, it is really dangerous. And that's what I have a problem with. Hey, Amber. I'm sorry to hear that, Ash. Yeah, I just don't know how Reddit and subreddit works, to be honest. And I haven't really sat down more than like once or twice to try and figure it out. Sanders Kennedy used to be obscure. Okay, so Sanders Kennedy, he I Sanders Kennedy kind of started becoming popular when Nick and Dustin came on the platform. If you guys have been around that long, like I have been, and he got himself into some drama with the John Cuckian stuff back in the day, just like he has with the Shane Dawson stuff. And he disappeared. And then he came back and said he had rebranded and he had been doing the content that he was doing. And then he got traction talking about the Shane stuff. And he did what we all know he did. But if you really pay attention to that, he started focusing on his subscriber count and stuff like that once he got the memberships. And he was utilizing the drama that he was probably partly creating about the Shane stuff. We know he created the law enforcement stuff to his advantage to get more money. Because he was saying, I'm sure most of you guys are aware at this point, he was saying if you join my membership, you'll get exclusive information, you'll get the tea early and stuff like that. And it's just like, at this point, I don't know if he's going to be able to come back to YouTube from doing that. And if he does, he's going to have an uphill battle with his current subscribers because he didn't really address all of the issues and then he disappeared, which is exactly what he did a few years ago. Sorry, I'm trying to finish getting ready, so I've been ignoring the chat a little bit. I'm going to scroll up so I don't miss too much. What kind of fur babies do you have, Ash K? You want to dye your hair black? You just went platinum from purple. Yeah, I can't have anything due to my work. I can't have anything that's not somewhat of a natural hair color. So, although I would like to maybe dye my hair like a deep, like teal turquoise color, that's what I would really like to do, I can't. You're having a rough day. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I try my best to be unbiased for you guys. And if I'm not unbiased, I try to at least acknowledge the fact that I'm not and where I know I'm not unbiased. Like when I talk about the Stoffers, which I recently put out an update video on them, I will legitimately say my coverage of this is biased because I've experienced to some degree adoption. I've experienced being like put in multiple homes. I know the trauma it will cause because I deal with it. Her subscribers didn't grow much. I don't know why people get so hyper focused on their subscriber count. Because your subscriber count, I guess in a way, it maybe if somebody sees that you have a lot of subscribers, they may be more inclined to be like, oh, this many people like their content too. I guess it's not going to mean anything for me to just go ahead and subscribe. But aside from that, and it may help you get pushed into the algorithm, like your views mean more than your subscriber count from what I have been told. Maybe I'm being misinformed, but I don't know. I don't know why people hyper focus on that, aside from they think it just makes them look bigger and it like gives them a talking point, maybe. I don't know. Oh, you have one real okay. You were glad to see Sanders go MIA. I wasn't happy about it or sad about it, to be quite honest. I'm kind of like neutral. BX was mentioned. He's not like a topic, the center topic, though. We're talking about all kinds of things. Could YouTube have possibly banned him? I don't know. I would imagine maybe like lying and like creating a scenario to gain subscribers, and then that's almost scamming his subscribers, because the only thing is we're not going to know unless somebody paid for that membership and saw what exclusives he was offering. We're not going to know if he actually followed through with providing them what the membership entailed. So if he didn't, that's a form of scamming, but I don't know if he did or not. Hey, Bob and Carrie, how are you? What color are you going to dye your hair? Who's looking in your window, right? Yeah, I think there's some confusion on who's who. The Shady Navy ship has definitely sunk. For now, anyways. I'm new to Reddit and only joined because of the KJ stuff. See, and like I want to have the Reddit just to be able to reference when I miss things, but I'm not the kind of commentary channel that provides receipts or evidence or anything like that. I'm not technical enough to have all of that. and I don't even know if I'd be able to figure out how to work that into my videos. I just figured out how to put music in over my videos. So Sanders really messed up with lying about the Shane stuff. Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't get into some kind of trouble with that. And maybe he did. Could YouTube have possibly banned him? Oh, I think I read that. See, I keep ending up in the same spot in the chat when I scroll. My hair is half pink and half purple. You work from home due to the virus. Thought I'd take advantage. Yeah, I would too if I could. Thoughts on Annie Tend to Life? What I have seen of her content, I really, really enjoy. I not gonna lie, I only became introduced to her because of the Sophie stuff, and that's primarily the content of hers I have watched. I respect how she has handled herself throughout all of that stuff. I know she was here before that, and I know she's covered stories since then. I've been relatively busy lately, so I haven't been watching as much YouTube as I usually do. I'm subscribed to her, so it's my hope to watch some of her other videos. The thing with me is I absolutely love true crime, but I like true crime in the sense on how like ID does it. I like to be able to see what's actually happening or reenactments of it. It's hard for me to stay engaged long term with just regurgitating of a story at times. It depends if it's one I know about or I don't. If it's a new story in a new scenario, I can get engaged and like be locked in. But if it's one that I kind of already know about, I'm gonna like waver in and out. You refuse to pay. It's too many ads in your chat, and chat has been rude to me. I ain't watching. That's funny that you got her confused. When some channels get bigger, cough KJ, it goes to their heads. Yeah, it definitely does. And I feel like for as viewers, like we typically we start to suspect something's off, but we maybe can't identify it until like maybe it's mentioned, and then you start to watch like hypercritically, and then you can kind of start to see it. Oh, I just lost my spot in the chat again, so I'm down at the bottom. If you guys said anything and I missed it, come back and comment again. You like Carissa Exposed? She has a series called Katie Joyless. I just saw her pop up in my recommended, and I clicked on a video, but I can't remember what happened. I didn't watch it. Speaking of music, I wasn't that. I want that get. Oh, Mila, it's in the Adobe Studio. I bought the Adobe package, and it's in their stock music. I can look for it for you for the next live I do. Hey, Britt, how are you? Hope you're having a good Friday. Someone gets a K in their subscriber count and a couple screws go loose. For some people, not everybody. I subscribe to a few larger larger creators like Rob Beauty Christie, and she's never changed. I know that's probably not the kind of content you watch since it's a beauty, but she's never changed. She's stayed very genuine and true to who she is. I absolutely love her and her content. How about Bailey Sarian? I've never watched Bailey Sarian. She's popped up in my videos recommended as well. I'm surprised I haven't ever watched her because I absolutely love Robert Welsh and his ghost stories. So I'm sure I would like Bailey Sarian, and I know a lot of people love her. For some reason, I just haven't ever clicked on a video. I'll have to go back and find her channel and watch it. I'm sure I would enjoy it. It's hard for me to find content I don't enjoy, to be quite honest. I know. I cried at her pregnancy announcement video. I watched it at work while I was doing paperwork, and I had to shut my office door because I was bawling like a baby. Stephanie Harlow, I've heard of her, but I've never seen her pop up. I haven't, Bob and Carrie. Apparently, that's something I need to try. And I know Britt recently did her first true crime video, and I haven't watched that one yet. I'm interested to see how she ended up figuring out her context of how she was going to talk about stuff. Smoky Glow's awesome. Recently, I've kind of been iffy, and I don't know why. But I have been a subscriber of Smoky Glow since the beginning as well. Her, Nick, and Dustin and Rich all kind of came up out of the same issue, which was John Kuckian. If any of you guys know of him or the dramas he did, that's how they all kind of gained their popularity, or started to gain their popularity, and their platforms just continue to grow from there, which was all deserved. Nancy Grace is your weakness. She's my inner bully with clout. I've never watched Nancy Grace until the Dad Challenge podcast and 10 to Life. We're talking about her show on the Long Case. You've watched a ton of different creators. What kind of content do they have? You bald like it. I think most people probably bald. I think even men probably were. It was super emotional. It was hard not to be emotional. You don't know Smoky Glow irritates you sometimes. She doesn't irritate me, but recently she's kind of rubbed me weird. I honestly, I've been trying to figure it out, and I thought I did there for a minute. But I will say her most recent video where she tried to do the Instagram model look was absolutely hilarious. I was crying from laughing so hard. It was so funny. And that's something that I was laughing so hard. My husband was home, and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I showed it to him, and he started to laugh. He's like, "What is she doing?" And I explained it to him, and he's like, "Maybe that's something you should do." And I was like, "No, I'm not that confident in myself to totally mess up a whole face full of makeup and then edit it and put it up. I don't have that confidence." Yes, Bob and Carrie. I watch her too. I don't know how to say her name. She's such a very sweet. I don't know where she's from. She said in her videos before, but hers are just honest tutorials, and she's a makeup artist. And so I find hers to be super educational. I'm iffy about Smokey. I'm still a sub, but I don't watch all of her videos. I'm still a sub too. I think once she started doing like these documentary type videos, I started to pull back because it wasn't really the content I expected her to make. I don't necessarily think that I have an issue with her doing that. I just hope she's not like. What bothers me at times, I guess I think this is what it is I have the same degree that she does. And I know I utilize my degree on my platform for like open chats and things like that. But I think to some degree, like she very much pushes it in people's face and almost utilizes it as a way to be like, I know more than you. And I don't think I think that's what's maybe rubbing me wrong. What about the Carrie, the nosy house Sue, and Petty Page? I've never watched Carrie. I've heard of her on Twitter, but I've never watched her. Petty Page, I've always watched Petty Page. I enjoy her content. I'm kind of confused about like what's all going on with the stuff she's been calling out, that she called out Ashley Kyle and Smoky Glow for, because I was watching all of these creators when that happened. And do I think what Hannah, I'm just going to call her Hannah because saying Smoky Glow is a tongue twister. Do I think what Hannah did about like informing her audience before them was kind of messed up? I don't think it was the most mature thing to do. I can see maybe why she did it. She had a larger following. She didn't want to have to be the one who's coming back trying to explain herself, because all of these channels, although I adore them and I'm subscribed to them, they are all very cutthroat and they're no BSers and it's all their opinion. So if they really disliked how Smokey handled it, it could have very well been a bigger issue than what it ended up being, I think. So I don't blame her for hopping on her platform and saying that. I think it could have been handled differently, but I don't know what's like continued to happen and why Petty Page feels what happened was racially charged. I haven't watched that full clip, so I don't want to say that it wasn't, but I was totally unaware of it if it was happening. And I did not watch Ashley Kyle. I've never watched her content. I don't know why. I didn't have anything against her. I just didn't ever watch her. Her worst rated makeup videos, Judy D. I've never heard of her. Her raccoon, how are her? So Nosy House Frasu is the one who's known for her raccoons. I see her retweets a lot, but I haven't ever watched her content. You think that that's why people, is that why you're off about her too, Britt, is because of that? That it's just rubbed me wrong and I don't know why. Carrie's coons are adorable. Yeah, she must be. I'm one of Petty Page's mods, so I'm a little biased. No, and I don't mind. Like, I don't really know the full scenario around that. That's why I'm saying, like, I was subscribed to Petty Page, Nick Snyder, Rich Lux, Dustin Daly. Who else was there? Wasn't Nady there too? I'm subscribed to all of them, and I was watching all of their content when that video was loaded, and I was like, that's really weird. Why is she telling us this? Because we didn't know it was being planned to begin with, from what I remember, unless it was on maybe Twitter or Instagram, because I wasn't on those platforms until I started this YouTube channel. So maybe it was known there, but it wasn't known on YouTube from what I can remember. And then all of a sudden, like this falling out happened. And I was just like, probably wasn't in the best taste for Hannah to do that, but I see why she did. Her Twitch is the absolute blast. I don't know how to work Twitch. I'm sure it's easy, but Twitch and Discord are like, it's like you trying to put something in front of me and have me fix it with no instructions. I'm going to be lost. And I don't ever, especially now that I am a creator, I don't ever want to go on another platform and say something or click something or do something that is rude or inappropriate. Not that I would be inappropriate, but like something that if I clicked a button that I wasn't supposed to and like deleted people or something. I don't know how it works. Like I just fear that I would end up making more mistakes than anything. She comes off very correct in your opinion because of her degree. So when she talked about like the Micah Stauffer stuff, I was not super thrilled on how she covered it. I didn't think she did anything wrong, but she could have used her education to provide more information in that scenario, in my opinion. When she talked about the Black Lives Matter movement, I feel like she did a pretty decent job in covering it. But like when she's talking about all of these YouTubers and like compiling their stuff, it seems very preachy and like, I feel this way and I'm backed up because of my degree. I don't like that. She should not be using her degree to validate her opinion about a YouTuber. And I know I use my degree, but I don't use my degree about anything like that. I refuse to. I use it to educate about general topics. So it's rubbed me wrong. You didn't agree with Petty on the Ashley Kyle until I remembered why Ash and Paige fought, and then I could see where Paige was coming from. I don't know what happened between Ashley Kyle and Petty Page. If I didn't follow both back in the day, if I didn't follow both people, I avoided the drama. So like I didn't follow Ashley, so I wouldn't have watched Petty Page's video about Ashley. I do miss Petty Page's old content though, like how she would stand in front of the TV and do the 60-second rundown and then talk about the drama. I miss that kind of content. Dark Lily. No, I still like Smoky Glow. I have nothing against Hannah. I enjoy her and her content. Just lately, something's been kind of like off. Like I haven't been feeling as connected and as genuinely connected to her as I once did. And I feel like that's why. Is that what happened, Amber? See, that's why it's a problem when viewers want to like stir the pot a little bit and then they just like give a half. That's like Katie's, all of her content giving half truths. Some of the things, apps make me feel old. I'm old enough to use PBS board before the internet was popular. I mean, some platforms I don't know about. It was all about Nick's party last November. Yeah, I knew it started with that, but I don't know like where Ashley's drama with Petty was in that. Oops. I skipped a few comments. I'm sorry. And I don't know where I was at. You miss her song intro? I do too. I thought it was funny. I can see why maybe she's rebranding a little bit since she has, I think a lot of it might have to do with her being a mom. I don't know if she's addressed it, but like that's what I'm assuming is that it has to do with her being a parent now and like her perception of herself has changed. So she's wanted her content to change. She has definitely matured a lot. Although I've loved her content through and through, I can see an obvious change in how she is delivering things. And I feel like she has matured a lot. And I think a lot of that is due to becoming a parent. And I think that's why she's maybe rebranded, which is fine. I just miss that old content on how she did that. Bob and Carrie, I'm sure some people would find that interesting, legal stuff. The only thing that I would think you might have is people starting to come to you for legal advice. Yeah, and she's pregnant. I thought that was a joke at first when I first saw it online. I wasn't sure if she was kidding or not. You love Paige. Yeah, Paige is, I think she's funny. She's got a great sense of humor, and I like how she covers topics. Her style of conversation is really good. Like, I don't want to say really good. Like, that's kind of not as complimentary as I would like it to be. I wish I had the ability to deliver stuff the way that she does. I don't have as much of a, like, she has a very big personality. I don't have that big of a personality. All right. So about an hour and 50 minutes in, and I finally have at least my eyeshadow done. I didn't anticipate to have this many people, to be quite honest. I knew I would have more people than normal just due to the subject matter, but I didn't realize I would end up having so much engagement in the chat. I really appreciate that, everybody. I like her accent too. I think most people, I don't know, I guess I could ask you rather than maybe making an assumption of how everybody else feels. But for me, like anybody who has a different accent, even if you're like American and you have, like Charlotte has like a stronger Southern accent, I find listening to anything that's different than mine is super intriguing. Bye, Amber. Yeah, she's hilarious. I should probably figure out how to use Twitch because she's kind of moved her platform over to Twitch, I feel like. You watch several British YouTubers, love them. Yeah, I watch all kinds of YouTubers. I'm sure you're doing a great job at that, Emily. Something I haven't talked about is I struggle with that as well, Jess. My husband and I have recently found out that that's something that we're struggling with. Your accent is like level 4 and above. I try to hide it on the phone with people, but I can't. I don't think there's anything wrong with people having accents. It's part of our personality. It's part of who we are. It also can, shed light on some of the hardships you may face. You want to try to adopt? Yeah. Eventually, my husband and I will adopt. Part of that is just because I'm adopted, and I've always said I will adopt. Is that something I may discuss? What, fertility issues? Maybe in time. It's a relatively new discovery for us, so I'm probably not 100% in a good enough emotional state to talk about it, like in depth. I can mention it and have conversations like this about it, but as far as like an informative conversation, probably not right now. If you check back with me in a month or two, I will probably have worked through a lot of the harder emotions when you first find out. I appreciate that. It's not a big deal. I just don't, you guys know, I don't like talking about anything like super, super serious until I know I can emotionally handle it. Yeah, me too, Jess. That's also why it hit. I think anybody who maybe knew of her journey or who struggles with things that she has struggled with, that release video, her announcement video, hit those individuals so much harder. Not that it wasn't emotional for people who have children, but for people who struggle and know that she had been struggling for as long as she had, which I know was part of her video. I think it hit us a little bit different and maybe kind of ignited some hope. Where Where's my foundation brush? I think it's dirty. I will use a sponge today. I missed something. I can't scroll up. So Zales, I'm not sure what you disclosed to everybody, but I'm sorry if you are struggling with anything or you have struggled with anything. I know you guys have some children, but it doesn't make it any less hard or difficult if you start facing that or you have faced that at some point in your life. For sure, Amber. Well, I'm sure you cherish your kiddo. I used a Micah Stauffer term, kiddo. Oh, okay. Maximum effort, just what she said. I am sorry you have experienced that. I have somebody I know who went through a very, very tough situation of a stillbirth. So, and some miscarriages and things of that nature. So I know that that's super hard. I'm sorry anybody has ever experienced that and had to work through that. You guys are some super strong people. Does anyone watch Shannon Rose and her journey? So I haven't watched. I did watch. I became aware of her through, oddly enough, through drama. I became aware of her whenever, what is his name? Mango Tea was causing like problems with like everybody, all the other beauty drama community we talked about, like Peter Mon and all of them, when he was kind of stirring the pot. She was mentioned and kind of brought in at some point, and like I got introduced to her there, and I saw she was popping in my recommended, and then I saw that she was struggling. I'm the kind of person who, when it's new information, it's hard for me to digest anybody else's situation because I need to work through my own stuff before I feel like I can take on feeling sorry or feeling empathy and sympathy for anybody else until I've worked through my own baggage, if that makes sense. I'm not gonna like go to the links to say that I feel I'm an empath, but I definitely take on other people's emotions super easily. So I'm not going to subject myself to seeing that kind of stuff, somebody else struggle with that kind of stuff until I'm ready to, if that makes sense. I'm sorry to hear that, Natalie. Is Mango Tea even still around? I found, you guys know I'm a dog lover. I have a whole video dedicated to me struggling with having to put one of my dogs down recently. So you guys know I'm a hardcore dedicated animal lover. I find it weird how he used to do that intro with his poodle, though. It was really weird to me. It threw me off. You believe your mom's is an empath? I think there's more people who are empaths and they just don't know it. I thought she was, yeah, she's an ex-porn star. I wasn't she kind of like in the beauty community there for a minute? I feel like I've heard and seen her videos in a lot of different contexts. No, I am not. I'm a Taurus. My birthday is in May. Miko was such a weirdo. He really was. He really was weird. And I don't know if he's still on the platform. Not that I have anything bad to say about him, but he stirred the pot in so many ways. He very much was kind of similar to Katie in a way. Like he very much played victim often. He'd stir the pot and then play victim, and I didn't understand that. I don't understand when grown people do that. Yes, he was. Didn't he create his channel to talk about his Scientology like experience, and then he never did? He just got into drama instead. Maybe I'm just thinking, maybe I'm making that up. It took you a minute to realize we were talking about a channel. Yeah, I don't know if he's still around. Kind of interesting. You're a Taurus as well, Crystal? Yeah, I'm a Taurus. I don't follow astrology at all. So I just know that I what my astrology sign is. I know I'm stubborn, which apparently that's a trait. So you don't like pot stirrers. You know, I think most people don't like pot stirrers unless like he has a separate channel for that. Does he? So he's still on the platform. He's just kind of retracted apparently. Hey, Nurse Kimberly, I'm glad you're here. Even if you can't chat. I don't know enough about astrology, whether that be my sign or anybody else's, to really talk about it. I find that kind of stuff interesting, but not interesting enough to where I want to dive deep. And that's something to me that I feel like I would want to know if I'm gonna ever the way to whoa, I'm having a hard time. I see I can't really multitask at times. I feel like for astrology, like it's an all or nothing kind of topic for me. If I ever wanted to like learn about it, I feel like I would have to go all in, and I don't have the time to dedicate to something like that. Yeah, I don't really fully get it either, Liz. And I know when you get to like super serious levels, you have to know when you were born and stuff like that, like what time you were born and things like that. I will never know that information. So I wouldn't even be able to follow it so strictly. Bye, Jen. Yeah, I know I've been on here way longer than I thought I would be. I'm probably gonna go at like 2:15, so in like 13 minutes once we get to that marker, just for a place for me to cut myself off. So if you guys have any other dramas that you want to talk about or any other topics, just let me know. I'm a Leo. So you flare up, but quick to apologize. Oh, I don't know what we're going to be doing. Shut this. Almost home, and it's like California here. Traffic is bad. I don't end up facing that much traffic where I'm at. Bye, Jess. Thank you, Crystal. You turned 40 and realized things weren't so serious. I feel like I've been that way the majority of my life, to be honest. I'm just a very like, this is me, take it or leave it kind of person. Very, very just to the point with most things. Yeah, Della, I'm happy he's back at doing what he enjoys. You know, I think a lot of, I don't know if there even what I'm trying to think. I don't think there was a gap in his content, but I think he's always been able to like maintain providing content. He's better at it than I am because I get busy and then I just don't film anything. My phone does the same thing. It always like pre-types something and I don't even realize it until after I've posted it and I reread it and I'm like, oh, well, that doesn't sound very educated. Sloan smile makes you happy. He's a very sweet guy. Has anybody watched Vice Versa? His T channel and intro is awesome. No, I haven't. You finally learn to let things go and lean on family and friends. I think if more people did that, like there wouldn't be so much discontent. Like, don't take things so personally, especially on like social media. I know at times it's hard. I myself, we all know, have found myself in a scenario, and I think I let my emotions get the better of me and like it was hard dealing with that situation because it's not my personality to not just like air it out and move on. But I also didn't want to say anything that I knew I would later regret. So I let myself think on it before I did anything. Excuse me. You're about to watch The Mandalorian. Yeah, my husband watched it last night and I fell asleep. I didn't feel good yesterday. I had to stay home. I had a migraine. You wish you were like that? If you don't know anyone who's into gaming, but all GTA YouTubers are trash. I don't watch any gaming. My husband will because he's a gamer. So like if he gets caught somewhere and he's tried and he can't figure it out, he will YouTube how to get out of it. Or he'll YouTube cheats at times, I'm not gonna lie. I think most gamers do for farming on certain video games. But I don't watch. That's not my kind of content. think it's pretty clear the kind of content I typically consume. I typically, like, if I'm on YouTube just to be on YouTube, it's like for consumer and not anything related to like potential content. I typically watch beauty channels. I watch a lot of like DIY. Side note, I do like DIY stuff. I do I have a Cricut, so like I do clothing and stuff like that. And I don't have a shop. I just do it for friends and family. And I am starting to learn how to do the resin cups, the glitter resin cups. So that I watch a lot of that stuff. I got into a weird hole earlier today watching like slime reviews. I didn't know there were different kinds of slime. I literally end up everywhere on this platform. Bye, Crystal. Bye, Zales. Bye, Emily. Will I be back live soon? I will probably go live over the weekend. I will post it on my community tab. You've become oddly intrigued by Dollar Tree crafting channels. They're crazy. I mean, they can create. I am creative in the sense of if I see something, I can draw inspiration from it or I can recreate it. I don't have the creativity so much to start from scratch and be able to think up of something. You've been watching tarantula channels. I have not ever and probably will never do that. I worked in a pet shop for years and I had to feed tarantulas. And it was like the one thing I hated every day, that I had to stick my hand in their cage because they weren't in very big terrariums. But I would stick my hand in their terrarium to get their water bowl. And I was always scared I was going to get bit. I never did. And then it was even creepier whenever they shed their God, what is it called? Man, I can't think of it. When they're growing and they shed their skin and it looks like there's 2 whole tarantulas in there. I hated having to go in there and pick those out because we tried to keep them as one piece for education to show people. So that was never fun. You're addicted to Pinterest craft posts. I use Pinterest for recipes. I love using Pinterest for recipes. How to tie-dye. Hey, April. You're scared to death of spiders, but maybe it's you trying to overcome that fear by, molting. Thank you. You subconsciously trying to get over your fear of spiders by watching them. I don't know. My husband's terrified of spiders and he will watch videos about them too. I don't get it. You got bit by a brown recluse. So my mom and my sister, when my sister was younger, got bit by a brown recluse, and it got bad. My sister was bit on her arm and had to get like cut or something. I wasn't born. Well, I wasn't born, and 2, I'm adopted, so I wasn't there for it. These are stories I've heard afterwards. And my mom was bit on the stomach when she was pregnant, and it didn't do anything though. But brown recluse and black widows scare me, and they are so prevalent in Florida, where I was from, that I mean, anything that had cobwebs on it or that was like had something where it tucked up, like chairs, have chairs will have like lips on them and you would pick them up. I refused. Unless I had gloves on, I wasn't going to touch it because I was afraid I was going to get bit. You think 2020 has a lot of us watching videos outside of normal interest? Probably. A lot of astronomy content. Bugs are like golf, fun to watch from afar on YouTube or TV, not fun in person. True. All right, we got like 2 minutes. We can continue on this conversation. Do you guys have any preference on time for a live on Sunday? Hey, Mike, is it Michael? Is that how you spell it, or Michael? molt and exoskeleton. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've worked in a pet store. I couldn't remember. Better make sure those eyebrows are even somewhere in it. I am terrible at my eyebrows. What you guys saw is like my maximum effort. Typically, I just use one of these, which is just a primer and a small comb through. I know you're kidding. They can go ahead and make fun of me. My eyebrows aren't even straight naturally. You can tell when I lift my eyebrows, one typically is up higher than the other. So at least my eyebrows aren't caked on. And they have some form of symmetry for the most part, because I just try to fill in the gaps. I typically, funny thing about eyebrows is I usually don't even do anything. The only reason I have been lately is because my hair is darker and I'm naturally like dirty blonde. So you can't really see my eyebrow hairs that well. Eyebrows are intended to be sisters, not twins. I agree. Bye, Miss Cassandra. You're into orchids, goats, Bailey Sarian, nature stuff, anything random. Yeah, I will probably put up a poll for you guys. I might not get to it today. It might be tomorrow, but I'll put up a poll to pick what time of day Sunday, depending on what we have going on, because I don't know what we have going on Sunday yet. Self-help stuff. I love when it's good content. Depending on what kind of self-help, Wednesdays we have open discussion where everybody picks in my polls what topic we're discussing, and sometimes those have been helpful for other individuals depending on what you want to hear others and how they coped with things. It's kind of like a big group just therapy session, honestly, with some education. Just no more mentally and emotional draining topics. I mean, everybody votes on the topics. So whatever everybody wants to talk about is what we end up talking about on those days. Michelle. Okay. Hopefully I remember. If I don't, please correct me. I'm not going to get offended. If I ever pronounce anything incorrectly, a name, anything like that, please feel free to correct me. But with that being said, I will put up the poll, if not tonight, tomorrow, for everyone to pick the time of day. It will most likely be on Sunday. And if you ever have any questions or concerns, or you want to tell me something, you can reach out to me on a community tab, or you can reach out to me in my DMs on either Twitter or Instagram. My handles there, I believe, are Mandapants Does Live. All right. I will see you guys in a couple of days. Have a good one.